All right, well, we've got some holes drilled now. Now I'm going to show you a few of these tip-ups and the techniques we'll be using for trying to catch these winter trout. Now what I've got right here, using a standard 8-inch hole, which should be more than enough for these trout. And all I've done here is just kind of made a spot so I can get the tip-up to rest right down on the ice so that it stays level. I pre-rigged my tip-ups, and what I've got here is a polar tip-up. It's what's called an underwater tip-up, and what's nice about this design is that it's guaranteed against freeze-up. There's a tube mechanism here I'm folding out. There's a shaft that runs in here from the trip mechanism down to the spool, and that's encased in a freeze-proof lubricant. So no matter how cold it is, no matter what happens, the trip on this flag, of course, which whenever a fish bites, turns the trip, pops the flag up, will not ever freeze up, which is wonderful. What I did, I've got a 20-pound braided Dacron line that I spooled on here. And the reason I'm using the 20-pound braided Dacron is that's a little bit easier to grab. When you catch a fish on a tip-up, you're hand over handing the fish up. You're not reeling it up. It makes it a little easier to grasp the line. And then I'm just going to put that right here in the line guide. That keeps the line coming off the spool evenly. I attached a 6-pound monofilament leader on to the Dacron, just using a simple barrel swivel here. Okay, and I always like to use a ball bearing swivel. That helps to eliminate any line twist that might occur. Got a number 10 treble hook on the end. Didn't go too big for the trout. You don't want too large of a hook, I might miss them. And then of course a split shot there. Real simple rig. So next thing I'm going to do is bait this up. And again, I'm not using very large minnows or very large hooks or anything here for these trout. I expect most of them will probably be in the neighborhood of about maybe 10 to 15 inches, although there are some bigger ones available. And what I'm doing is, when I put the hook right back here just below the dorsal fin and the backbone, it'll keep the minnow nice and alive and moving. And I position the hooks this way. Usually the fish tend to hit from the head side, and that puts the points right in the right position so that that minnow can right in the fish's mouth, and the hook will be in the right position to get the best hooking percentage. Going over in about 6 feet of water. So I'm going to lower that down. So try to get that bait just again off of the bottom. I got to make sure I compensate for the length here of the tube. Okay, so I've got probably about a good 3 feet of line there, plus the length of the tube. That's about 4 feet. That should put me right down just at the top of the zone where we were seeing those trout coming through before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this flag on the smooth side of that trip shaft there. That's the lighter trip for the trout. It's kind of protected from the wind down in there because of the snow that we have. I don't have to worry about wind trips or anything, so we should be all set to go. Now all we do is wait.